demons and fantasy freaks. Welcome. You found your way back. Thanks for joining. This is the Week 2 NFL Reaction Show on the ZFG YouTube channel. Shocking how that works. What's not shocking is how I'm still trying to figure out how all this other shit works. Oops, YouTube, I swore in the first few minutes. We'll see what they do about that. But yeah, it's been crazy. Week 2 is nuts. It was a lot of fun. I think there's a little bit more normalcy than week 1, but maybe not a lot. But things were a little bit more normal, shall we say? What question still remains? The thing that's driving me crazy. Anyway, can anyone hold on to the damn ball? Anyone? Seriously, just hold on to the ball. Anybody? I mean, I saw more pigskins floating around through the air or rolling around on the ground. It was kind of crazy. Wouldn't stop. I mean, hell, there's a quarterback yet to be named that threw interceptions back to back to back. Another quarterback yet to be named that found himself on his back in a very precarious situation. Speaking of that, I mean, there was plenty of injuries. Lots of injuries. So, enough of this back-to-back-to-back crap. If we're going to talk injuries, let's just get into it because there's a load. That's a little injury breakdown there. We'll start it off with the Browns there. Jarvis Landry exited the first quarter with a little knee issue. Looks like an MCL, saying it's not bad, but probably expect him to miss a couple weeks for sure. OBJ, is he ready to come back? Yet to be told. We don't know if OBJ isn't yet ready. An interesting pivot would actually be Demetric Felton, who looked really good in the preseason, and then when given opportunities, he's shown out. He's a bit of a hybrid running back, wide receiver, a young guy, rookie. Somebody interesting to pick up, maybe stash away, especially in your dynasty leagues. Somebody in the league should have him stashed away because he is electric. He's shown that multiple times that when given a chance, he can do stuff. And, with OBJ up in the air, I don't know. Felton might get featured next week, as weird as that sounds. It might happen. Pay attention to it. Sticking with the Browns, Baker Mayfield. Now, he didn't miss a snap, but he did have an issue. He said his shoulder, quote unquote, it popped in and out. Well, I hoped it popped out first and then in, so I hoped it popped out and in, but neither here nor there. Baker, come on, man, what's going on with your shoulder? Apparently he's okay. He's a tough dude, Teach him that at Oklahoma, I guess. Almost as tough as Texas, not quite. Sorry. Let's move on to another quarterback, Tua. That's right, Tua out with a rib injury. It sucks. I mean, this guy's been through enough already. Gets in there. He got hit quite a bit and looks like probably bruised ribs. I think the x-rays were negative, so that's good. But they're going to be sore. He can either play through it with a flak jacket and little, shotty shot, or he can't. And if he can't, Jacoby Brissett's your man. And boy, he didn't look good. He didn't look good in that offense. Maybe just wasn't ready. Don't know. But I'd be a little shaky. In a super flex league, you got to do what you got to do. Quarterbacks at a premium. If he's a starter, he's worth picking up, but I wouldn't expect too much. Oh, boy. I don't want to talk about the next one because it was dumb. Deontay Johnson, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are down 10 points, final play of the game. Steelers have the ball. There's no 10-point play. Doesn't exist. So why is your number one receiver, yes, I said it, number one receiver, why is he out there? They throw him the ball. His leg does some weird lockup thingy, and everybody's celebrating. Not everybody. Steelers were not celebrating. The game's over. People are celebrating, and there's Deontay just dragging his leg around, just flopping around on the ground. Great. Didn't need to happen. We don't know the extent of it. They're saying he avoided major injury, which would be great. That would be great because Deontay, man, that guy's a target hog. If you got him, you're probably dependent on him. Let's go to another quarterback. Yep, Andy Dalton. Boy, the Andy Dalton era there in Chicago might have ended pretty quick. He's got a knee bruise is what they're saying. A bruise somehow. Somehow bruised it without somebody hitting it. I don't know, but it's what they're saying. Didn't return. Justin Fields comes in. You know, he had his ups and downs, but he gives a lot of energy to this team. You know, I mean, he brings it. And Andy Dalton's fine and all, but Justin Fields is the future, and I think if Justin Fields does anything in the next couple of weeks, there's no going back to Andy Dalton. Sorry, Red Rifle. You got to think the time is up. You got to think. Unless Fields just totally, fumbles this thing away, which is possible. We'll see. Doors open for Andy Dalton to return. They do it. They said it. They double down. He went healthy. He's our starter. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Darrell Henderson, running back for the Rams, went out with a little rib injury, which, they're saying it's a cartilage deal. Again, very painful. We'll see how that goes. But I don't know what the Rams do if Henderson can't play. I mean, it's going to be a committee. It's really tough to pin down. And that's the thing about these early season waiver wire pickups is that nobody really knows. Us, the experts, we try to tell you should do this, you should do that. But in the first couple weeks, nobody really knows. You're taking shots in the dark. Some of these guys are going to hit and be home runs. Nobody really knows at all. Sorry. I got nothing for you on the Rams. Expert. You call yourself an expert. Anyway, moving on to someone who calls himself a quarterback expert, Carson Wentz. I'll say this. The dude's tough. Hey, Carson Wentz is tough. I guess, you live in the Dakotas, toughened you up. But, Aaron Donald wrapped around his legs, and for some reason Carson Wentz is like, I'm not going down. I'm still going to make this play, and it looked disgusting. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. One leg went this way, one the other. The ankles both went other directions. Somehow, some way, he didn't end up in a cast. I don't know how. Didn't, but he did somehow sprain both ankles. He did. He did both ankles. I've never heard of that. Sprain two ankles at the same time. I mean, maybe a skateboarder. I don't know. Can't imagine Carson Wentz being much of a skateboarder, so this is probably an injury he's not accustomed to. It's probably hard to walk with two sprained ankles. Where do you put your weight? I don't know. But he wanted to go back in and play. Not going to happen, bro. It's going to take a while here. So, for the meantime, it's the Jacob Eason season. Again, in Superflex, go ahead and grab him. In Dynasty, might be worth a grab too, just to stash away in case he pops. Looks good. I don't expect it. I've never been much of a Jacob Eason fan in college. Didn't, kind of seemed like a game manager that was never going to do much else. And at this point, they probably just hope he can manage the game. I don't know if he can. We're gonna find out. We'll see. Jacob Eason season officially. Boom, starting. Meow. What else we got? Oh, another quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. That's right, Tyrod. Man, he's been looking good. But, dude, giving all he had, running for a touchdown, hurts his hammy. And if you've ever had a hamstring injury, it takes a while. That shit doesn't just go away. So he's definitely not playing Thursday. In walks youngster rookie Davis Mills. And I'll be honest, Davis Mills didn't look terrible. Didn't look great, didn't look terrible, but, he kept this terrible Texans team in this game. And at this point, the Texans have put together two good games. Maybe they're not terrible. I don't know. It makes no sense. They should be the worst team in football. Just saying it. They should be. But they're not playing like it. They're not playing like it at all. So Davis Mills, let's see, he's gonna have a chance. Interesting guy to maybe pick up and stash as well. Laviska Shenault got a little shoulder injury. Did not see MRI results. they kind of downplayed it. Laviska's the guy, the way he plays, his whole career, he's going to get banged up. He either learns how to play through pain or he's always going to be injured. Don't know. What this does help is the Jaguars receiver pecking order. If Laviska can't play, it might actually be a good thing because then we'll see, all right, we got DJ Chark over here and we got Marvin Jones over here. Which one do they actually target? Which one is Trevor Lawrence? I feel like Marvin Jones is the alpha and Chark is more the deep threat guy, the big play threat guy. That's the way I feel, but I'd like to see it for sure. Laviska made some interesting history. I'm sure we'll get into that later. And then another crazy, bizarre one. Let's go to San Francisco, where the 49ers, they're starting rookie Elijah Mitchell because Raheem Mostert is hurt. He's the most hurt. So in walks Elijah Mitchell, who looked great last week, was a huge pickup on the waiver wire for everybody for week 2. Goes out there and hurts his shoulder. Okay, so then Trey Sermon steps in. This is the guy we all thought was going to be the dude. So we're like, all right, now here comes Trey, and he's going to take this job away. And, that's that. Wrong. First play of his entire career. First snap, gets the ball, and this dude gets lit up. And he's just laying there on the ground, he was just laying there. He wasn't dragging nothing around. He just laying there. Lights out. Welcome to the NFL, rookie. Part of me is like, oh, another part of me is like, that's awesome. It's crazy. But I feel bad for him. I mean, the dude had a chance there, and I like Trey Sermon, I really do. But he goes down, and then JaMychal Hasty, you're like, all right, well, they got another guy, JaMychal Hasty. But guess what? He also hurts his ankle. And Elijah Mitchell somehow ended back up in the game, even though he was injured because they had no one else to turn to. How does this happen? They got four running backs that are hurt. The guy everybody's sleeping on that I would look at, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. We're going to have to watch this week, but might not be a bad idea to go ahead and grab you and stash you. That's right. Jeff Wilson. He's proven he can do it in this system. Time and time again. He's always pushed down, and somehow he reemerges like a phoenix from the ashes, does his thing, and then somehow slides back down the pecking order. It might be his moment again. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Elijah Mitchell's all right and he can play. Either way, if Trey Sermon's concussed and JaMychal Hasty can't go, and Mostert's on IR, well, Jeff Wilson's going to get some action anyway, and Shanahan loves him, so I think it's a good grab and stash for sure. And that was a long-winded injury section. I really hope that we don't really have to do that again. Like, that was just absolutely brutal, is what it is. So with that, we're actually going to get in the games. We're going to break it down. I'm going to give you the stats and, tell you what to think about that. And, I like to call that church. I don't know what it's like where you're from, but to me, this is religion. So, hey, why don't we let's go to church, motherfuckers! Yeah, I did it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Start with the Monday night game? No, we can't do that. That'd be like doing backwards. That just ended. We'll end with that. So let's go back to Thursday. Giants and the WFTs. You got to be careful with that one. You really do. Washington football team. That was a wild game. It was actually a lot of fun. Giants do not win. They, in fact, lose 29-30. Daniel Jones, bizarre game. 22 for 32, 249 yards, a touchdown. He had 9 carries somehow for 95 yards and a rushing touchdown. Come on. Come on. But he did it. He did it. And he looked so slow, but yet he was going by everybody. It was super, super weird. Super awkward. I wouldn't expect it. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to lead this team in rushing throughout the year. It's possible. I mean, Saquon can't get his act together. It's possible. It's not going to happen. Here's what is happening. Sterling Shepard. He's kind of emerging as this team's number one, which doesn't really make any sense to me. He had 10 targets, 94 yards. Kenny Galladay, yeah, he had 8 targets, 54 yards, and a touchdown. He also threw a temper tantrum. Apparently he was not yelling at his quarterback, but he was yelling at the clapper, his old offensive coordinator there. I don't know. Something's going on. There's dysfunction. And then we talk about dysfunction. Darius Slayton, who ended the game with 6 targets, 54 yards, and a touchdown. It could have had another one. A terrible drop. I mean, it was a god-awful drop in the end zone. No one around him. Just catch the ball. Just catch the ball, Willis. No, couldn't do it. Dropped it in front of God and everybody. A lot of dysfunction there. Dysfunction. I got to mention Saquon. 13 carries, 57 yards. Not pretty. 3 targets, 12 yards. Not pretty. And don't get too excited on that 40-yard run. I mean, I know, think about it. 40-yard run, he ends up with 57 yards. Saquon doesn't look right. Even on that big run, he didn't look right. Just didn't. I don't know. Be careful. It's going to take a while. It might be week 6 before he's finally getting into gear. Just not good for all y'all guys that drafted him in the first round. Washington football team. Taylor Heineke steps in for an injured Ryan Fitzpatrick. Boy, half these quarterbacks are going to be injured, which is crazy because you can't touch them anymore, but some others still injured. But Taylor Heineke walks in and does a phenomenal job. 34 for 46, 336 yards, 2 tutties, 1 pick, and he rushed. He threw in a little 6 yards of rushing. Attaboy Taylor. I like the fight in this kid. I do. Again, this is, if no one picked him up, you definitely, in a super flex league, that's a stash. You definitely want him. I like this kid. I don't think he's a superstar or anything. Don't get me wrong, but kid can play. They got weapons there in Washington and a good defense to help him out. I like it. Good play there. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, one of my favorite young wide receivers. 14 targets. Taylor Heineke knows where to throw the ball. Terry McLaurin usually catches it. Dude's pretty darn good. 107 yards and a touchdown. And I think we haven't even scratched the ceiling on what this kid could be. Or scratched the ceiling. Haven't scratched the surface. Feel like Michael Jordan there. I've never scratched the ceiling on this kid. It's stupid. I say dumb shit all the time. Logan Thomas, tight end, the other target hog. 7 targets, 45 yards from him. I think he's solid. I mean, I know it's like not going to blow your doors off, but it's a top 10 tight end. He's good. He established it last year. Same thing this year. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm all in on Logan Thomas. No other receiver worth mentioning on this team at this point, unless you're talking about running back J.D. McKissick, because he had 6 targets, 83 yards. Makes no sense to me because Antonio Gibson, the running back, is one of the best receivers. I mean, in college, he was the best receiver on his college team, which is why he did not play running back very much at all. Gets in the NFL, and they're like, no, we got this J.D. McKissick guy, who, don't get me wrong, he's a good pass catcher, but he's not Gibson. Gibson only had 2 targets for 4 yards. He carried the ball 13 times for 69. So, in the end, J.D. McKissick was the better fantasy play. Come on, Rivera. What happened to all this CMC talk? Preseason. He could, Antonio Gibson, he's a lot like not Alvin Kamara. He's a lot like Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I didn't see it. It's not. You're throwing J.D. McKissick in there, so whatever. I love Antonio Gibson. Do not give up on him. Hold on. Let's go to Patriots at Jets. This one's going to be ugly. I mean, Bill Belichick, all he does is eat up rookie quarterbacks. This is what he does. This is why I put money on this game. It was a slam dunk to me. Bill Belichick, for the record, he's 22-6 versus rookie quarterbacks. The only rookie quarterbacks to beat him, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Tua, Colt McCoy, Mark Sanchez, and Geno Smith, believe it or not. But it would not be Zach Wilson. In fact, Zach Wilson had a very rough day. 19 for 33 for 210 yards, 4 picks. 4 picks. This is what Belichick do. Now, when he was throwing the ball, a third of the time, those targets went to Braxton Barrios. He did this last week, too. He got a lot of love. This week, Braxton Barrios gets 11 targets for 73 yards. Now, I do think Braxton Barrios has worked his way into fitting in somehow. But you got rookie Elijah Moore, who got 8 targets for 47 yards. You also got Jamison Crowder coming back any day. And then what people are really going to forget about this game is Corey Davis, because he didn't do anything. He had 8 yards receiving. 8. Woof. But what do we know about Bill Belichick? What does he do? He takes away one weapon. He's going to take away a chess piece. And see what you can come up with the others, but that one person's not going to beat us. It was very apparent that in this game, that one person was Corey Davis, who is their best offensive weapon. They took him away. So these numbers are totally inflated, these Braxton Barrios numbers. Calm down. Don't get too excited. I think people are going to run out there and grab him on the waiver wire and then be totally disappointed because, let's be honest, there's not going to be a lot of fantasy love points scored from this team to begin with. So why take Braxton Barrios, who by the end of the year might be their fourth most targeted guy? Chill out. It's one game against Bill Belichick. Moving on. Broncos at Jaguars. Broncos win this one 23-13. Jaguars look bad. They look bad. So let's talk about something good. The Broncos look better than advertised the first couple of weeks. Teddy B is really holding things down. 2 gloves Teddy, or Teddy 2 gloves, however you want to put it. You know, I'm dyslexic. What are you going to do? 26 for 34, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. Solid. Now, without his main man, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton finally steps up. 12 freaking targets. You better. 12 targets, 159 yards. Total production. If he can do this on a regular basis, watch out. It might be a sneaky league winner. Might be a time. Now his price has gone up. His price is still cheap, but I don't think I'd trade for him. Now he's on everybody's radar now. The time to do it was last week. Noah Fant, tight end Noah Fant, 6 targets, 33 yards, and a touchdown. I like Fant a lot. I think he's got all the makings of a top 5 tight end. Possibly even this year if they get him worked in here. But, Teddy went to him, got a touchdown. The other guy's totally sneaky, and he needs to be rostered, is Tim Patrick. 4 targets, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Tim Patrick has always risen to the occasion. When called upon, he produces. He did it again yesterday or Sunday. I don't sleep, so they're all the same. But yeah, he did quite well. Got that touchdown. Tim Patrick, I like it. If he gets to be used on a regular basis, he's going to be a solid player. Rookie Javonte Williams came out, had 13 carries, 64 yards. I like how he runs. He runs hard. He's going to take this job over eventually, but for right now, Melvin Gordon is a burr in his saddle. He had 13 carries, 31 yards, so he did nothing with it. But that said, the old man's still there. Everybody got all excited when he ran that 70-yard run last week. I was like, chill out, man. Javonte's going to take this job. It's just a matter of time. Well, let's get in the Jaguars, or as I like to call them. Right, they might as well be the Jacksonville Urban Decay. That's what they should be. The Urban Decay, because Urban Meyer is screwing this team up. Now I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you saw it. There tends to be a split here with Urban Meyer. Is he crazy? Is he insane? Probably. To be a successful coach, you probably got to be pretty insane. But they took a little tour in his house. This is on the local news there in Jacksonville. And a lot of people noticed that he had a coffee table in the middle of a room that couldn't be used because there were 27 pictures on the coffee table, all in frames. Yeah, that sounds like, something his grandfather or grandmother might have done. What is Urban doing? This dude's losing it. But he's really losing on the field. He's really screwing these kids up, especially Trevor Lawrence. Poor Trevor. 14 for 33, 118 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. This is kind of starting to look like Peyton Manning's rookie year. Throwing a lot of picks, put in bad situations. But, man, there were a couple of throws in that game that were precise and beautiful that only a handful of people can make, and he did it. So I've seen enough. I know it's there, but, man, Urban Meyer's really screwing him up. Marvin Jones, who I believe is the alpha there, 11 targets, 55 yards, and a touchdown. DJ Chark, 4 targets, 19 yards. That does not scream alpha to me. And Laviska, listen to this one. Listen to this piece of history. 7 targets for old Laviska, -3 yards. Yep, 7 targets for -3 yards. First time that's happened in NFL history. Oh, and he also got hurt. So, just gross. I mean, Urban Meyer put him in bad positions constantly. It's just driving me nuts. James Robinson, this is also driving me nuts. James Robinson can run the ball. 11 carries, 47 yards, 17 yards receiving. You got a rookie quarterback and a line that's like, meh, run the ball, control the clock, help the kid out. But no. Draft another running back in the first round. Dumb. Moving on. Bills at Dolphins. Bills Mafia, cheers to you. You win this one 35-0. You took out Tua. Didn't play very long. Went 1 for 4 for 13 yards before he got some bruised ribs. So when you think about it, yeah, I mean, he definitely bruised more ribs than he completed passes. Rough. I don't know. So Jacoby Brissett comes in. He goes 24 for 40 for 169 yards and 1 pick. That's not good. Looks real bad. Devontae Parker, 9 targets, 42 yards. Jalen Waddle, 8 targets, 48 yards. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I didn't want to edit this. I didn't want to edit it. Oh, now I have to. I don't want the people to see me sneeze. They can see me drink beers. Woo. All right, back on track here. Jalen Waddle, rookie, 8 targets, 48 yards. I mean, Saul, he looks good. I like it. Be nice if they had a quarterback that could get him the ball. Myles Gaskin, I feel bad for. Again, didn't have a chance because they had to keep throwing the ball. 5 carries, 25 yards, 21 yards receiving. He looks good. Don't get all crazy on me here. Josh Allen, 17 for 33, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 35 yards rushing. He's good. Didn't have to do much in this game. Stephon Diggs, 8 targets, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Devin Singletary, 13 carries, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 receptions. Once again, this should be his job, but no. But fucking no. Zach Moss somehow, 8 carries, 26 yards. Okay, he's obviously not as good at running the ball. So let's give it to him on the goal line, and let's vulture all the work away that Devin Singletary, Jesus, did. It just pisses me off. What else pisses me off? Just Miami, I don't know, they just really fumble-cucked around on this one, just threw this game away. Anyway, speaking of sodomy, the city of San Francisco took on the city of brotherly love. And I'm talking about the 49ers at Eagles. 49ers do win. They really gave it to them there. 17-11. Bizarre score. Like I said, this one was weird with all the injuries the 49ers sustained and kept on trucking. Jimmy G staying healthy. 22 for 30, 189 yards, 1 touchdown. Also had 20 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. Solid day. The day really belonged to Deebo Samuel, who once again made the most of life. 8 targets, 93 yards. George Kittle, haven't seen him get going yet. 4 targets, 17. I mean, Deebo looks like the alpha here. I don't know what's going on with Ayuk. We don't know, but Deebo's really taking this on, and they're throwing him the ball down the field, not this little dink and dunk crap they've been doing. He's the alpha. I like Ayuk. He's fine, but, man, this job belongs to Debo, and he's taking it. Now, Elijah Mitchell, again, 17 carries, 42 yards. Some of that, take it with a grain of salt because he came back injured, tried to do what he could. Trey Sermon, 1 carry for 8 yards is a great average, 8-yard per carry average, and also 1 concussion per carry average. JaMychal Hasty, 5 carries, 38 yards. God knows what's going to happen here. Jalen Hurts, I like this kid a lot. He's really growing on me. 12 for 23. They didn't ask him to do much through the air. 190 yards, 82 yards rushing. Great for fantasy and a rushing touchdown. Rookie Devonta Smith was the most targeted guy at 7 targets. This time he only got 16 yards. So, little growing pains there. Quez Watkins, on the other hand, 2 targets for 117 yards. This all feast or famine for him. That's what he is. He's a big play guy. Chill out. It's going to be Devonta Smith, Jalen Reagor. Quez Watkins is down the pecking order. Miles Sanders, 13 carries, 55 yards. And somehow Kenneth Gainwell steals a touchdown. Do they hate Miles Sanders? Seems like it. Kid's good. Give him a chance. All right, let's go to the Rams at Colts. Rams at Colts. Rams win this one 27-24. Oy, 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 oy. Whoa, I just lost. Whoa. What just happened? That was crazy. I literally just lost everything. Come back. Rams win this one 27-24. Matthew Stafford looks pretty good. 19 for 30, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Cooper Kupp looks really good. 11 targets, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. It's driving me nuts because Robert Woods is getting screwed here. Like, this happens all the time. They're going to go back and forth. 9 targets, 64 yards for Robert Woods. Give him a break. These two are going to go back and forth, and both of them are going to end up as top probably 15 wide receivers. Chill out. If you own Robert Woods, chill out. Darrell Henderson, 13 carries, 53 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 targets, 29 yards. He was playing good, and then he got hurt. Sony Michel came in, 10 carries, 46 yards. Now, Sony's looking healthy. He's moving well. I don't know what goes on here. I don't know how bad Henderson's hurt. I don't know how long it's going to be. But, Sony Michel, watch out for him. He should be on your radar. He's looking good. I don't know how long. I don't think he can do it for a season if he had to. But for right now, looks pretty good. Carson Wentz, we talked about it. The man that can somehow sprain both ankles in the same play. 20 for 31, 247 yards, touchdown and a pick. 37 yards rushing. Kid is tough, but somehow, sometimes you're more tough than you are smart, and then you end up on the sideline, and Jacob Eason's the starting quarterback, and he throws a pick to end the game. Okay. But Michael Pittman finally looked like an alpha dog now. 12 targets, 123 yards. I loved it. Love seeing Pittman get loose, do his thing. He's the future there. I really like him a lot. Jonathan Taylor, running back Jonathan Taylor, supposed to be a beast, blah, 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 blah. 15 carries, 51 yards. Don't panic. He is a beast. This line, I don't know what's going on. Because Carson Wentz is getting destroyed out there. Getting destroyed. This is supposed to be a decent line. It's not looking good. But here's a little silver lining. Jonathan Taylor has the league lead in rushes inside the 10. And if that continues, and I think it will, because Nyheim Hines is not a goal line back, even though they paid him, they didn't pay him for that, Jonathan Taylor's going to get you touchdowns. It's going to happen. Chill out. Moving on to Raiders at Steelers. I put money on this game. I thought it was a bold move. I didn't really want to do it. Steelers fans talked me into it, actually. They're like, trust me, we're going to lay an egg on this game. I was like, really? Come on. They laid an egg in this game. Raiders win 26-17. Derek Carr leading the league in passing yards. 28 for 37, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns. Henry Ruggs finally emerged. 7 targets, 113 yards and a sick touchdown. And they need that. They need these young guys. So, like, last week, we had some growth with Brian Edwards. He kind of made some plays at the end of the game. And then this week you get Henry Ruggs. So there's something going on there. There's a little growth in these young wide receivers. I like it. Darren Waller, who's apparently the best player Chucky's ever coached. And I do think Darren Waller is good, but I don't know. What about Derek Brooks, maybe? I don't know. Darren Waller, 7 targets, 65 yards. That's what he does. He's good. Nothing else to say. Peyton Barber, on the other hand, not good. Not good. Shockingly, not good. 13 carries, 32 yards. I'm so excited. I couldn't believe Chucky just threw him in there. Like, no. We don't want to talk about Kenyon Drake. We're going to bring in this Peyton Barber. Like, no, Peyton Barber. It's gross. Kenyon Drake, 4 carries, 9 yards, 6 targets, 46 yards receiving. Okay, whatever. I don't know what they're doing, but it's working. Big Ben, 27 for 40, 295 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Some good, some bad, meh. Deontay Johnson, 12 targets, 105 yards, injured on the final bullshit play of the day. Stupid. What's he doing out there? It's a great coach y'all got out there. I don't know why the one slip up could have ended the player's season. I don't know. Claypool, 9 targets, 70 yards. Claypool's the man. You know who's not? I'm not a big Juju fan. 7 targets, 41 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. This is really Juju. Yeah, I mean, he's a slot guy. That's about it. You know who looked like a beast? A freaking man? Najee Harris. Rookie Najee Harris. 10 carries, 38 yards. Also adding 43 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown and 1 nasty, vicious, stiff arm. Boosh. It was awesome. Love this kid. Excited. If he had a line, if he had a line. All right, let's go to the Bengals at the Bears. This is a crazy, weird game, but the Bengals, they could have won it. 17-20, they lose it. Part of that was because Joe Burrow was 19 of 30 for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then, in the second half of the game, in fact, I think it was in the fourth quarter, back to back interceptions. It was not good. It was bad. It was very bad. It was embarrassing. I don't know. I still like Joe. Come on, Joe. We need you. T. Higgins, 10 targets, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Meanwhile, this time Jamar Chase only had 4 targets, but he did turn that into 54 yards and a touchdown. I like both these young guys. I do feel like T. Higgins is actually the number 1 this year. It's kind of 1A, 1B, but, I think Higgins is the guy that you're going to count on week to week to score you points. Steady Eddie possession guy. Meanwhile, Jamar Chase, he's going to have weeks where he probably wins you games, maybe even as a rookie. Kid's ridiculous. But on the other hand, Tyler Boyd, don't forget about him. 9 targets, 73 yards. Everybody forgets about Tyler Boyd. They shouldn't, but they do. And Joe Mixon, he's one of the league leaders in rushing. 20 carries, 69 yards. Nothing sexy, nothing flashy there. He just gets the job done. Andy Dalton, this was his revenge game. Goes out there, was 9 for 11, 56 yards, a touchdown, 25 yards rushing until he bruised his knee bone thingy. Justin Fields comes in and is like, I got this. I get the revenge for you. And I'm going to go 6 for 13 for 60 yards and an interception and 31 yards rushing. Not joking. These stat lines are pretty similar. It's kind of weird, but they do hold on to win. Darnell Mooney's a guy to watch, especially if Justin Fields is playing. They looked good together. He had 8 targets for 66 yards. I like the fit. I like it a lot. And with Allen Robinson, we don't know what's going to happen after this year. Mooney, go trade for him. I would. Allen Robinson still got a touchdown, but Mooney had more yards, twice as many targets. We're going to see in the next couple weeks, but I think Fields likes him. David Montgomery, all he does is turn out yards, 20 carries, 61 yards, 18 receiving. Again, not sexy, but he gets it done, and that's how he's a top 15 running back at the end of the year. Maybe even top 10. Texans at Browns. Oh, I really thought the Browns were going to destroy the Texans and be like, yeah, last week was bullshit. But no, Texans hung in there even with a backup rookie quarterback. 31-21 Browns win. Before exiting, Tyrod Taylor, 10 for 11, 125 yards and a tutty. Also had a rushing touchdown of 15 yards where he pulled that hamstring. So in walks the rookie Davis Mills, 8 for 18, 102 yards, a touchdown. He actually did all right. I mean, there were times he looked pretty good. He's got a chance here. Brandon Cooks, 14 targets, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Fire that boy up. I mean, all he does is get 1,000 yards a year. That's what he does. Doesn't matter the team. Doesn't matter the quarterback. He's the best playmaker on this team, on this offense anyway. Brandon Cooks is the man. If the owner in your league is like, I got Brandon Cooks, not a big deal, go trade for him. Go get him. Do it. I mean, he is an instant plug-and-play starter, and they're going to be behind. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Brandon Cooks is a guy that low-key can win some leagues. Mark Ingram, old man Mark Ingram, still around. 14 carries, 41 yards. David Johnson, old man, still around. 6 carries, 25 yards. It's just gross. It's gross. Baker Mayfield, 19 for 21, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He also ran for a touchdown. I mean, that stat line is very efficient. I mean, 2 incompleted passes with a shoulder that popped out and then in. I kind of dig it. We haven't seen nothing from Baker, but he's looked solid even though he hasn't done anything yet. So just give it time. He also doesn't have a receiver to throw the ball to, which is weird because they have a million receivers. But instead here, we get Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant. Those were the guys that were getting targets. The tight ends, David Njoku. None of them, got over 50 yards receiving. The guy that did was Demetric Felton, who had 2 targets, but turned them into yards and a touchdown. Again, I like this little electric jitterbug kid. What they do really good is run the ball. Nick Chubb, 11 carries, 95 yards and a tutty. Kareem Hunt, 13 carries, 51 yards. I mean, both those guys are beasts. What you start them. I mean, if you have Kareem Hunt in your flex, good for you. You're good. Let's go to a really crappy game here. Saints at Panthers. Saints, after beating the hell out of Aaron Rodgers last week, and Jameis throwing 5 touchdowns, only like 150 yards passing, being like, holy shit, fucking Nostradamus couldn't have figured this shit out. But you know what Nostradamus could figure out? The law of averages. And he's like, Jameis swings this way, and then the pendulum swings the other way. And guess what? 100% right. Thank you, Nostradamus, because Jameis Winston was 11 for 22 for 111 yards, 2 picks, 19 yards rushing. Did get that rushing touchdown, but he looked like a warm pile of dog shit. Sorry, he just did. It looked bad. So that interception, we just chucked it up. What was he doing? Being Jameis. The wide receivers, non-existent. No stats to be had here. I don't want to touch any of them personally because I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm not here to play roulette. Alvin Kamara, usually you can bet on him. That's the one constant on this team. Wrong, not in this game. 8 carries for 5 freaking yards. 6 targets for 25 yards. I mean, woof. What a terrible game. And that's my worry here. There's not going to be any consistency to this Saints team with Jameis at the helm. I'm not buying it. I'm not. Sam Darnold, I'm kind of buying. 26 out of 38, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And I get it. The Saints D was pretty banged up, but Sam Darnold, once he got out of the shadows of Adam Gase, he looks okay. Shocking how that worked out for literally everybody else that left Adam Gase's shadow. Shocking. DJ Moore looked really good, 11 targets, 79 yards and a touchdown. He's the alpha. Here's the guy no one talks about that's kind of sneaky out there on waiver wires, and I know people need tight ends. Dan Arnold. 4 targets, 55 yards. I like Dan. Dirty Dan Arnold. I dig it. And Christian McCaffrey, what can you say? Christian McCaffrey's CMC, 24 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown, 6 targets, 65 yards. He's going to do this every week. He's going to do it every week. Moving on. Vikings at Cardinals. God, my allergies are just killing me tonight. Here I do, my first show. Bang, allergies. Oh! What are you going to do? Drink some beers? And talk about what might have been actually my favorite game of this whole week. Vikings at Cardinals. Cardinals win 34-33. But let's go to the Vikings first. The Cardinals were exciting, but both teams were. Kirk Cousins, 22 for 32, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns, 35 yards rushing. Solid day. You can count on that. Justin Jefferson, you can also count on him to get 10 targets, 65 yards, and a touchdown. And I think that's almost like a meh week for him. Adam Thielen, I know there's all these people that think Thielen's like moving down the... No, Thielen is a red zone threat. They love Thielen. He had 7 targets. He only had 39 yards, but he saved you with a touchdown. Chill out. I mean, I've wanted to forget about Adam Thielen for 2 years, but he's still there and he's still good, and he's a good route runner, and he's great in the red zone. Dalvin Cook, dude, 22 carries, 131 yards. He looks electric with the ball in his hand. 17 yards receiving, and he was injured multiple times in this game. There were so many times where I'm like, he's limping off again. Oh, he's laying on the ground. Oh, send him back in. Oh, 15-yard run. I don't know. Dude, I mean, if he goes down, they're in a lot of trouble. But, man, he makes such a big difference. Keep him healthy. Now let's go to who I think, if he keeps playing like this, you're looking at the MVP this year. That's Kyler Murray. 29 for 36, 400 yards on the dot, 3 touchdowns passing. He did throw 2 picks, but he was trying to, really gunslinging those. He was going for broke. 2 picks, 31 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. So he didn't rush as much in this game. I mean, he did run around a lot and make some big plays, but didn't rush as much, but he did get you that rushing touchdown. You know who we really liked in this game? Let's just go with DeAndre Hopkins first, because everybody likes DeAndre Hopkins. He only had 4 targets, 54 yards, and a touchdown. They look pretty smooth. Here's a couple of guys that are out there. A little bit shocking, but I'm like, let's watch this. Max Williams, tight end, 7 targets, 94 yards. Don't expect that. Maybe half of that. But Max Williams is really working in this offense. But rookie Rondale Moore, baby. 8 targets, 114 yards, a touchdown. He adds an element to this offense that they needed desperately. It changes everything. He is electric. He is a playmaker. I love Rondale Moore. Loved him. And I think he's the perfect fit. Perfect fit. I don't think this is the last time you see him go for 100 yards and a touchdown. Get used to it. Moving on, Falcons at Bucks. That Falcons just look like, ugh. Falcons lose this one 25-48. That's because Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. No denying it, the GOAT. So if he's the GOAT, let's start with the nope. That's Matt Ryan. He's been on the wrong side of this equation before. 35-46, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. 3 picks. Calvin Ridley got targeted this time, 10 targets, but only had 63 yards and a touchdown. While that's a fine stat line, I do expect more out of Calvin Ridley. We got Kyle Pitts. I know a lot of Kyle Pitts owners that are like bitching and moaning. And I'm like, dude, did you think he was literally going to step on the field as a rookie and be the, number 3 tight end in the league? Maybe people thought that. You know what's crazy? He could end up being the number 5 tight end in the league this year, and people are going to be like, oh, he's crap. The kid had 6 targets for 73 yards, and everybody's like disappointed. Only Travis Kelce and the aforementioned Max Williams had more receiving yards at the tight end position this week. Kyle Pitts is good. He's more than good. So chill out. Get your head on straight. Dude's good. Cordell Patterson, Cordarrelle, however you want to say it. Cordell Patterson. 6 targets, 58 yards, and a touchdown. Okay. Nope, not done there. 7 carries, 11 yards, and another touchdown. They're going to do this all year. It's going to screw old running back Mike Davis up, who had 9 carries for 38 yards, 7 targets for 25. That might be a Mike Davis stat line for the season. Let's go to the good guys here. Tom Brady, 24 for 36, 276 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The dude's got 9 touchdowns in the first 2 games of the year. He really is the MVP right now. We'll see if he can keep this up. He's got more weapons than anybody, so he might. One of those was Mike Evans, who was non-existent last week, but reemerged this week for 9 targets, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin, 5 targets, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Catching a theme here. Oh, let's go to Gronk, old man Gronk. Yeah, 5 targets, 39 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Gronk already has 4 touchdowns on the year. My mind is blown. I'm out. I'm done. I've had enough. No, psych. I like Gronk, but Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. Leonard Fournette, 11 carries, 52 yards. Ronald Jones, 6 carries, 27. They both kind of look like hot garbage, but they both had their moments too. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't trust it. Like Tom Brady, I never trust who he's got in his backfield, ever. Oh, we got a beast of a game here. Titans at Seahawks. Man, I'm sure you saw. You had to have seen. I mean, what Derrick Henry did in this game was just flat out ridiculous. Because the first half wasn't really that appealing. Like, it was like, oh, Derrick Henry didn't do well in the first week, and it's not really going well again here. I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, Derrick Henry, well, he did Derrick Henry things. Breaks off one run, and the next thing you know, he's off to the races every time you turn around. And they actually came from behind. The Titans came from behind to win this game in overtime, and they came from behind using the running game. Crazy. Ryan Tannehill, 27 of 40, 347 yards, 27 yards on the ground. I know that sounds good, but it was awkward watching it. And when I say Ryan Tannehill's getting the shit beat out of him, I mean, only Joe Burrow and Carson Wentz are getting hit more than him. He's not going to make it through the year if this continues. He's just not. But, I mean, he did what he needed to do in this game, and A.J. Brown kind of suffered, although he got 9 targets and led the team in targets, only had 43 yards. Julio played great. 8 targets, 128. I think he got robbed of a touchdown. I think that was definitely a touchdown. Anybody says it's not, it's bullshit. It's a touchdown. Well, let's talk about Derrick Henry. 35 carries for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oh, and he added another 55 yards receiving. You know what that is? That's fucking bell cow right there. That's the definition of motherfucking bell cow. The dude's ridiculous. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorites, just hands down. And he did most of that damage in the second half. I mean, the first half went pretty, I mean, it was okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here we go. 40 touches in this game. 41 touches. Woohoo. That's put a team on your back. I thought Russell Wilson had won this game a couple of times. And he went 22 for 31, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 yards rushing. Guy, Russell's Russell. He doesn't get enough credit. He's awesome. Tyler Lockett, 11 targets, 178 yards, and a touchdown. Everybody's like, oh, it's been the Tyler Lockett show. Listen, DK still had 11 targets. They just worked out for 53 yards. Chill out. This thing's going to go back and forth as the year goes, too. Ride the wave. Chris Carson running the ball, 13 carries, 31 yards. Meh, but he did get 2 touchdowns. That's what's going to happen. They're going to give him in the red zone. Oh, boy. Oh. And I got 2 of my teams left to talk about. Cowboys at Chargers. Cowboys do win this one 20-17 on the back of Greg the Leg Zuerlein. Dak was 23 for 27, 237 yards. I mean, it wasn't good. Dak turned the ball over. It was ugly. It's not going to happen. Just chill out. It was a bad game. Thank God they won. CeeDee Lamb, 9 targets, 81 yards. He did some cool shit. Amari Cooper, on the other hand, this one he disappeared. 5 targets, 24 yards. He also hurt his ribs. Going to watch that one too. If not, we're going to see the emergence of CeeDee Lamb here pretty quick. And then here's some weird stat lines. You know, for the second week in a row, Tony Pollard scored more points than Zeke Elliott. But it was, you know, it was some trickeration. Zeke had 16 carries, 71 yards and a touchdown, 26 yards receiving. Tony Pollard, 13 carries, 109 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 targets, 31 yards receiving. Similar stat lines. Pollard getting 13 carries, though, is a lot. That's what I would be taking away. Like, whoa. Now, he didn't do a whole lot with it until that one. He broke one big one. They're both playable, and you should try to have Pollard as a handcuff. And I don't usually get into handcuffs, but that's one that makes sense. It really does. I mean, he's got standalone value, as we've seen for the first 2 weeks. Justin Herbert, 31 for 41, 338 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed in his performance so far, but the dude threw for 300 yards. I mean, chill out. I mean, you can't go out there and be Tom Brady every freaking week. You can go out there and throw for more yards than Tom Brady every week, but chill out, people. Mike Williams, 10 targets, 91 yards, and a touchdown. He's growing up. Keenan Allen, 8 targets, 108 yards. He's been a grown man for a long time. And Austin Eckler, 9 carries, 54 yards, 9 targets, 61 yards, and a sweet one-handed catch. He also got lit up on that one-handed catch, and he might have a concussion. I don't know. We'll see. Watch this situation this week. But chill out. Chill out on the Chargers. Chill out on, like, literally everything. It's week 2. We don't know anything yet. Week 4, all right. Patterns are emerging. We got no patterns yet. Chiefs and Ravens. Newsflash, both these teams are good. This was a thriller. The Chiefs should have won. They didn't. They fumbled it away and lost 35-36. Patrick Mahomes was good as always, 24 for 31, 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 bad pick as he was falling down. Travis Kelce was Travis Kelce, 8 targets, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Mecole Hardman, 8 targets, 55 yards. I'm not big on Mecole, but when Tyreek Hill was getting shut down, 4 targets for 14 yards. Yeesh. And that's without their number 1 corner out there, Marcus Peters. They shut down Tyreek. So Mecole played all right. I'm not real big on him, especially not in fantasy. Maybe in a best ball league, that's about it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 13 carries, 46 yards, and that bad fumble that lost him the game. All you had to do was hold on to the ball, son. Would have won. Nope. He's having a rough start to his year. Lamar Jackson, you got to talk this kid up. He's a fighter. At the end of the day, he's a fighter. 18 for 26, 239 yards, a touchdown. Did throw 2 bad picks to start the game, but bounced back from that because he's a fighter. 16 carries for 107 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. He's a stud. A lot of people, there's things that people don't like about him, but shut up. He produces in a different way, but he produces something else nobody can. Come on. Marquise Brown, maybe he's growing up. 10 targets, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Mark Andrews been a grown man for a while. 5 targets, 57 yards. Tyson Williams, we wanted to see him get going, and he did. 13 carries for 77 yards. Also had 16 yards receiving. Latavius Murray, a guy I don't care to see get going. 9 carries, 36 yards. He's just boring. Can't do it. That does it for that game, and the game that just ended, Monday Night Football. Lions at Packers. Lions put up a good fight in that first half. Second half, all right, Aaron Rodgers is going to figure shit out. Packers win this one 35-17. Jared Goff had his moments, 26 for 36, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 46 yards rushing, shockingly, led the team in rushing. Because DeAndre Swift only got 8 carries for 37 yards, did get 41 yards receiving. Jamal Williams, 7 carries, 25 yards, 12 yards receiving. Listen, DeAndre Swift, when he's got the ball in his hands, dude's electric. He looks like Alvin Kamara. And this line for the Lions is actually pretty good. Penei Sewell looked like a beast at left tackle today. Had his good moments. They gotta get Swift the ball more often. They have figured out how to get TJ Hawkinson the ball more often. That kid's good. You're looking at a top 4 tight end there. 9 targets, 66 yards, a touchdown. He's going to do this each week. He's their number 1 wide receiver. Quintez Cephas is emerging, though, as someone that Jared Goff trusts. And he had 7 targets for 63 yards and a touchdown. I dig it. But really what I'm digging here is Aaron Rodgers bouncing back from that crappy week 1. Today he goes 22 for 27, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams was his right-hand man as always, 9 targets, 121 yards. Robert Tonyan, he's going to be a touchdown dude. And that's going to make him a tight end 1. I mean, he's going to be a top 10 tight end for sure, I think. But only 3 targets, but 52 yards and a touchdown. This is what happened last year. It's going to happen again. And how about Aaron Jones, the man of the hour, the MVP of the night? 17 carries, 67 yards, and a rushing touchdown. That'd be a pretty good day right there. But not enough. Also had 6 targets, 48 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. Absolutely incredible. He won plenty of people their week tonight. It was amazing. I loved it. I love football, and I'm glad it's back, and that's the whole reason I do this. Like, I just love talking football. I hope to interact with all of you. I hope we can really grow this thing. But this is just week 1 for me. I mean, it's week 2 in the NFL. This is week 1 for me, really. First time doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thanks for joining me. I'm rambling now, so I got to cut this off. This is ZFG. Thanks for joining me. Keep your wheels spinning and keep those beavers, keep those beavers grinning. Until next time, folks, peace.